Good morning, Your Excellency, His Majesty's representative, my dear friend Sami. Dear Excellencies, everybody, it's going to be very hard to speak in Arabic after his eloquent speech, so I'm going to speak in English. And we need to stop using the engineers, by the way. We have more engineers than anything on earth. We have the highest number of engineers per capita on earth, and that's a challenge and an opportunity at the same time. So I'm going to share with you a dream, something that we've been working on for a few years in Jordan, and now with His Excellency's leadership, it's going to be much more interesting journey to do it together. I mean, can I have a mic that I can run with? You know, the supply chain of semiconductors is the most disrupted supply chain currently and in the last 4 years. Everybody remembers in 2020 when we had the COVID and when we had some shortages of chips because of the supply chain disruptions, and how the world opened their eyes and decided that we should move forward. Since then, everybody is trying to take its share of semiconductors. So the supply chain in semiconductors is in 3 phases: pre-silicon, wafer fabrication, and post-silicon. The pre-silicon is around $100 billion. Those $100 billion are IP creation, design, verification. It's the R&D part of this supply chain. This is actually $100 billion. The outsourcing part of it is $30 billion. So the addressable market for MENA is around $30 billion. Currently, we have almost 70% of the outsourcing is happening in Southeast Asia. And this is stopping. People are not doing that anymore. The US, European Union, industry leaders are trying to diversify. And this is where our opportunity comes. In Jordan, we have the highest number of engineers per capita, as I said. We've done last year a semiconductor design competition, and we were privileged to have His Royal Highness Crown Prince patronize the closing event. We asked our students in universities to do a single cycle CPU. I hope I'm not being too technical here, but the single cycle CPU is one of the simplest designs through FPGAs. Those students, 3rd and 4th year at public schools, public universities, they've done an out of order superscaler. That's 5 times more complex. So those are the type of talents that we're trying to integrate to the global supply chain. So the first part is something we can do and we should do, and we should work with our colleagues and friends and regional allies on doing that. I know Saudi, Oman, UAE are all trying to do it. We have the powerhouse of engineers. They have some additional capex. We could integrate, and we're too small to compete on our own. We need to integrate as a region and work on it to make sure that we have our fair share of the global supply chain. The second part is the wafer fabrication. And we keep saying that we have silica. Silica is the least important part of the supply chain. Taiwan produces almost 92% of the most advanced chips on earth, but they don't have any piece of silica. The main thing here is know-how, capex, and water. Taiwan, you know how it happened? There's a guy, Morris Chang. He used to work at Texas Instruments. He applied to become the CEO of Texas Instruments back in 1987. And being a Chinese, he hit the glass ceiling, and he was not taken. So the Taiwanese government took him back. And they told him there was a discussion on how to make the best out of him. So they created TSMC. They started with $200 million. Now it's $800 billion. One guy going back home created a total different dynamics in his country. Taiwan is only safe now because they have the control over the supply chain of the semiconductors globally. If Taiwan has any problem right now, there will be no computers, no cars, no mobiles, nothing. So one guy could make that much difference. And there are hundreds of Jordanians in the supply chain in the US and Europe and everywhere. And this is what we're trying to do. We want to get them back and build our future with them. Once you do the wafer fabrication, you create the 12-inch wafers, something like this. And you need to take it to the next phase.
where you can cut it into pieces, package it, and test it. The small piece could have 100 billion, let's say, if you want to say it's a house with electricity, water, and drain. 100 billion integrated components that are all together, that work together, are being cut, tested, and packaged, and sent to contract manufacturing clients. One factory in Costa Rica in 1996, one single factory, it costed them $300 million, moved the GDP growth from 2% to 8% in 2 years. Simple. We have actually hired IBM on our behalf to assess the feasibility of Jordan in this context. And we've compared ourselves to 10 global competition, regional and international. And that feasibility study showed that Jordan is the most profitable place in those 10 countries. And I can list some of those countries, but it's not needed. It's people who are aspiring to do so. That's a huge opportunity for us. This is one of our national priorities, and myself and His Excellency Sami are working closely with our private sector funds in Jordan to make it happen. And we would love to discuss it with our regional friends and allies. The talent shortage is the biggest challenge right now. This industry will need 1 million skilled workforce in the next 6 years. 1 million. Universities on earth will not graduate enough engineers. There will be a shortage of 300K in those years. So our biggest problem, which is having too many engineers, is the solutions to the globe's problem. And we need to make sure how we can find the right way to integrate. I'm not going to do all the slides, actually. I'm going to try to. So we believe that we are well positioned from financially, politically, geographically, to be the resilience partner for diversification and growth for this industry. And I'm not saying this out of nowhere. I mean, His Excellency has explained the growth that has happened. I know that our workforce in digital-enabled jobs have doubled in the last 5 years. It has doubled. We were growing at 19% year over year. And if we could serve those global customers, we could serve Qualcomm, AMD, and Amcor, and Apple, and whoever. And as my dear friend has explained, our services are tax-free. Our exported services are not taxed. When you serve the globe, we don't charge you taxes for that. And that was one of our first decisions to extend those tax exemptions till 2033. And with our free trade agreements, we provide access to $50 trillion of economies. Everybody thinks Jordan is a small country. We are a small country, but we have big aspirations and big dreams and big capabilities to deliver those dreams. Whatever is manufactured in Jordan, it's like it's manufactured in Berlin or Stockholm or in Texas, but with the cost of Jordan. That's huge. That's something we should not undermine. We are very competitive when it comes to access to global markets, and with the highest number of engineers per capita, with our IP protection, which is, I mean, we rank number 43, if I remember correctly, on IP protection. Much higher, 15 ranks ahead of India, for example. 10 ranks ahead of Poland, for example. When it comes to high-value manufacturing, IP makes a lot of sense to look at, because if you don't trust your IP, things can be very dangerous for your industries. And I don't want to say we're a low-cost country. We're not. But we provide the best value for money. We provide close to Europe quality with close to East Asia costs. Definitely that's for the first 3 years. But when it comes to the later years, experience become costly at every place on earth. It's not low cost in India or in China anymore. When you have enough years of experience, the globe is so connected. I mean, digitization is a tool for justice. It creates opportunities when resources are scarce. When you have enough years of experience, regardless where you are, you can work now. You can be connected to the global demand. And when it comes to energy, and it's super important, everybody now wants to get to net zero at 2050. And Jordan is now the highest in the region when it comes to renewable mix. We're 27%, we're going to 30 soon, and it's only increasing. And this strategic direction is part of our economic modernization vision. We have two main drivers at the vision that many of the people in the room here worked with us on, the future services and high-value manufacturing. We strongly believe we have our strong position to contribute to the supply chain, and we would like to work together with the people in the room on integrating to the global supply chain. Thank you so much.